Was this the record button?
That was the record button. The big red button has now been pressed.
Fantastic. Then play the music.
Oh, here we go. Hello and welcome to the Velocino podcast. Oh, bullshit.
Cycling podcast.
That's
Welcome to the Velocino cycling podcast.
Did you just swear?
No, he didn't. He said balls.
Oh,
Balls.
Ball balls.
Yes,
The ones-
well, it's close to Christmas. It's time to think of the balls, I guess. But anyway, welcome to the Velocino cycling podcast.
Where the best stories have not yet been.
Ridden. Don't we only do that bit at the end?
We can just
We
flake it in whenever we want.
yeah.
It's good.
Well, to our listeners and to we are testing today the opportunity for us to be on YouTube as well. God help us all.
Because
People
somebody
could
said we are
actually
very pretty.
I was going to
Who
say,
was that?
yeah,
I just made this up.
You made that up.
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
you?
Maybe there's one person who think like, oh yeah.
It was when you used the word pretty, I was suspicious straight away.
Yeah. That's not words I would use to describe you and me, mate. No chance.
Beautiful.
Beautiful,
No.
handsome, intelligent, witty, entertaining.
I would have liked to say like well grown, but you are not grown since you were
Do
5.
you mean? Don't you mean well groomed?
well
Groomed, that's the one.
I'm not even well groomed either. I mean, let alone well grown.
Well, Gemma just came back from the
I
hairdressers.
did, yes. You can probably tell I've got Lego hair.
Lego.
Because they always dye your head, don't they, as well?
They
The
dye
full
your
face.
head.
This is a cycling podcast.
Oh.
Not a hairdressing podcast.
I know, but I think we've finally found a topic that we could talk about.
Tell me more.
It was
Come
when
on.
Mike said to me, you know what, I've been thinking about my hair as well. Didn't know if you'd been serious or not.
No, I meant it. I'm really in a conundrum about my hair, but no, you are right. This is a cycling podcast, so we probably need to move on.
You know what
Anyway,
annoyed me the most with all of this? That I had to tidy up the office, especially.
The best bit was when he said he tidied it and Mike and I were like,
Have you?
have you?
Really?
Oh, really? Oh, actually, there's a light. You can switch the light on if you like.
Oh, okay. I'm going to switch the lights on.
I heard.
Is this like the switch? Is this the equivalent of switching on the lights for the Velocino family?
I don't know. Does it work?
Oh, the Christmas. Did you expect that
What
to be
a letdown!
a lot brighter?
What a letdown! I cannot believe that turning on a lamp was such a letdown. But
Just
there
our
you go.
viewers may not be able to see that at all, actually. I'm not sure if any
Yeah,
effect at all.
Oh yeah, forget
But this
about the
is why we only did this for our listeners, that they now might be intrigued and think like, oh, what's going on there with the lights? And then they might hop over to YouTube, search for Velocino, and you will find us. Potentially,
And
if we
then-
decide actually on put this video live.
This is genuinely the idea that our listeners are going to be so intrigued as to how bright that light was that it's going to tempt them onto YouTube.
So do you not like it?
Well, I tell you what, listeners, seriously, if you're logging on for just the putting on of the light, you're going to be let down. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like a candle has been put on in a country.
Well, it's meant
further
to
away
be
than-
like how do you call it?
I have no idea.
Awful.
Shit.
No, like
Bad.
like-
mood lighting.
yeah, in the
mood.
background. It shouldn't be like it shouldn't. Otherwise, you would have like a
Oh, is
like
this
a
a-
halo.
Oh, is this a feature light?
It's a feature light.
That's what it is.
You've
Okay.
only, we don't have one, just you.
No, just me. Okay, just me and my feature light. Anyway,
Oh, sorry.
coming back to introducing. Oh, that's all right. Coming back to introducing the podcast. I thought I'd actually try and big us up to say welcome to the Velocino Cycling Podcast, where there is a positive smorgasbord of entertainment and passion and inspiration, with a side order
Okay.
of education and knowledge.
You asked the question.
I didn't know what one of the words meant, Mike.
Smorgasbord.
I thought it was German, but then Niels looked at me just as confused as I looked at him. So
Might
it's
be
obviously
Dutch.
not.
Smorgasbord. It's means buffet, doesn't it?
In which language?
Well, I thought English.
There's no way that's English.
Well, buffet is obviously. Well,
One of us is going to look stupid right now.
No, it's definitely. It's probably.
It's
I'm
a
sure
small one.
It must
I
be
mean,
Dutch.
Niels can get away with it, but
It must. Must be Dutch. Must be Dutch. Anyway, look. This is going to be an entertaining and inspirational program because we are currently although listeners don't know this, we are currently basking in the post-race glory of Gemma's attack and attempt on the UCI World Cyclocross champs.
Yes, so not to give anything away, but I definitely did attempt it.
For
I did
old
race.
people.
It's not the old people. Actually, though, I tell you, there is a
Old
article on the BBC News about this, and it said it was for 55s and over. I was a bit disappointed about that.
So did you
Incorrect.
cheat with your age?
55s and over.
Well, that was. I mean, there were age categories. So, what was the youngest age category?
Mine, 35 to 39.
Excellent. And then there were 2 more categories, weren't there?
I think even more, so it goes up every 5 years, 39
Every
to
5 years.
44. I think it went quite far.
Yeah, there was an article somewhere on Facebook. Someone shared from a lady who was in her 70s.
Yeah, I think it
The
was
US,
actually, yeah.
Is
I mean, if
she-
I'm doing that when I'm 70, wow.
Yeah,
I
wow.
won't.
Did she? Is she the one that was in front of you, or did you just manage to get to the line?
Yeah,
or?
she was actually in my race, I think.
Well, look, it was a fantastic experience, and obviously supported by the incredible slick team, the dynamic duo. That's us, Niels.
Oh, that's us.
That's us. Or in the pits that were like coiled springs, ready to go at the drop of any moment that we were required.
You know what? At this point, I'd usually, well, from the previous podcast, maybe give you guys some stick, but you were really good.
Because he didn't need us.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll come on to that. But everything I needed you for, you were there.
Oh,
Oh, that's so cute.
Exactly. She needed us for nothing, and we were there.
Yeah,
for
I didn't
nothing.
use them a lot, but
No.
we'll
But we'll
talk
come
about
on to that. Yeah. So,
I have to say, I really expected a little bit of more fire in the pit zone. I honestly thought that everybody was in there. It's like
I
really
feel
like,
like you're a
pumped.
spoiler.
oh, am I not supposed
No,
to?
no, go. It's good.
No, I just thought like everybody's really pumped and really like, yeah. But we were the only ones cheering anyone
I think
on.
they were concentrating.
On what?
Well, being pit
Pitting.
crew.
I tell
Did
you what,
anyone actually
that's
pit?
it. That's it. They were. Yeah, no, a few came in.
Okay.
It's just. I mean, it's obvious that they just didn't have our level of confidence and experience. Although you did point out on our previous podcast that confidence is just the absence of knowledge. Didn't you say?
No, the optimism.
Optimism.
The lack of information.
But yeah. So look. So are we going? Should we? How should we?
I know where we need to start.
Where do we need to
definitely need to start. Actually, unless you have any stories from prior to when I met you on the journey. Anything exciting happened on the journey?
No, nothing exciting happened on the journey. It was quite a slow journey up. Only the fact that there was quite a lot of excitement of getting into the van, and Niels and I having almost like a little road trip. That was good.
Yeah, the neighbors were a bit confused when I drove onto like Mike's drive, and then all of a sudden we started like a Scottish dance.
Why did you do that?
No, it's an Irish
Just-
dance, right?
just
What's
out
it
of
called?
a
The
jig.
river dance.
River dance.
Just
We
excited.
started a
Oh,
river
you're
dance.
excited.
Just
Overexcited.
Overexcited. Lots of energy.
That
But
soon calmed down on the 3-hour drive in traffic into Ipswich.
And then we
She
hugged each other and sang Lord of the Dance and church
Okay,
song.
so basically nothing
No,
happened.
we basically it could have been a Thelma and Louise moment, but it wasn't. It was just slow around the M25. That was
Oh well.
quite dull. Anyway, so yes, then we met you.
When you arrived, this is brilliant. I said, we're going out for a meal. But I tell you what, just in case there's a bit of confusion, let's meet at the campsite. I had already been there and done a little warm up. And there was a lot of people camping. Genuinely a lot more than I thought. Motorhomes everywhere.
Everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere. Packed.
And everybody who actually went to this event, hello to all of you that are listening. We all know the big bronze-coloured motorhome that everybody spotted and talked about.
Was there really? I didn't see it.
Oh my goodness! It was like the
Have you watched Meet the Fockers?
Yeah, yeah.
You know when the father has this.
Yes, yeah. Was it like that?
It was
I can-
bigger.
that.
Passed
It,
me
it
by,
was
totally.
absolutely enormous and looked very, very bling.
What
It was very
country?
cool.
It was a Brit.
Oh,
Yeah, he'd probably come just. He
Down
probably
the
lived
road.
in Ipswich.
Norfolk.
Yeah, come from Norfolk. Yeah. Anyway,
In the fuck.
in the fuck, one of the fucks.
so these two arrived, and massive field. The guy was really nice. He said, "Look, you can come and go as you please. You know, it's plenty of space. It will be fine." So Mike and I pretty much were like, "Okay, right, Jem, do you want to jump in? Let's go out for a meal." Niels was like, "Hang on, we need to find a space. Mike and I are looking around. It's quite a lot of space. A bit of space here. Niels was like, but we need to reserve our space.
It could have happened maybe that like the floodgates opened and everybody was like swarming in.
Serious concern.
Because I wanted to go in the corner.
He came up with a plan. He came up with this plan that just in case they couldn't get a space, resemble anyone, beach towels, etc., that what we would do is we would park my car in the space, so that they didn't use it. So my car was effectively the beach towel, the German beach towel.
Your car was the German beach towel, and it was left in the space, and then we came back and parked somewhere completely different anyway because there was just so much space down there. So we tried to talk Niels out of it, but he was adamant. He was convinced that we needed to put deck chairs out or whatever or something just to reserve our spot.
Well, it could have. What would it? Just imagine. It would have be gone.
Everyone had already arrived. I was pretty certain that if you were there to race for the weekend, you'd probably arrived by that point.
Hang on though, there was one thing you did say. Did anything happen before we got there? There was one other thing. As Niels and I came on to the big conference centre where this race was being staged, they were already laughing because they know what happened.
That was really stupid.
So just to be clear, all of us that cycle, right? If you see a big yellow sign with a black arrow on it, we all know that is the international sign for cyclists follow this sign, right? If that sign has written above it, cycling event this way, again, you might think that is the direction. For some bizarre reason, Niels, whilst driving down the drive, saw this arrow and then out the corner of his eye saw some sort of party going on somewhere else. I was instantly distracted. Went, "Oh, what's that?" And we turned off the main road. I'm not quite sure.
There was so many arrows. It's not even just one arrow. Arrows on each side of the road, basically like a runway of arrows to say this is the way.
But it was dark and there were like a lot of cars parked and there was a massive shark head in front of this building.
We basically almost joined someone's big Christmas party /conference, and as we went round the car park and then had to reverse in and out to get ourselves turned round and then find our way back out again. And then Niels was really worried about like knocking anybody over because there was tons of people there all dressed up in their finery, so he was going really close, really slow. It looked like either we were a taxi there to collect somebody and everyone just kept turning round to us, or it just looked like he was curb crawling in some bizarre way down following people along.
In my defense, I really thought.
You really hope that was where everyone was camping, didn't you?
There was a group of like 20 women or so, all like nicely dressed up, and I thought like, maybe it's like an opening party.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought it was maybe like an opening party that we are missing out. So I was looking if they could be cyclists. So I was looking at like the calf size and stuff, and I said to Mike like, they could be cyclists, and he said like, no, just go. Like if you drive any slower, they might call the police. But then I didn't want to drive through any puddle of mud and make them dirty.
That's true.
But if they would have been cyclists, that would be fine.
Yeah.
Good warm up.
Yeah. Cyclocrossers, right? Yeah. It's mud in my face.
I just can't believe you missed it. But they made it, and then adamant about the space.
Yep. But we got there and we stayed over. So Niels and I stayed in the van, and Jen went off to a hotel because obviously the athlete needed to get her make sure that she was all right. And got her good rest. Niels and I slept in the van. Now, this was the first time Niels had converted his van really well.
It did look really good.
I did it myself.
You did, and it is absolutely brilliant. It's got a combination of the seats get dropped down, and then he's got this slide-out bed that he's put in, and he's got this memory foam mattress he's put in. It's really, really well done. But it was the first time you'd slept in it.
Yeah, the first time.
And I felt honoured to be sharing this van with you on its first night.
Yeah, I felt your honour in my back. Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
You two told me you were sleeping top to toe.
No,
I was concerned it might bite.
No. We've got to no. We but the thing is that Neil's has a very young family, including a child that's currently teething. So Niels, you hadn't really slept much before we got there, had you?
No, for like the last couple of months, not at all, really.
Exactly. And my wife has had a horrendous cold and has been awake most of the night, disturbing me as well. So when the two of us got there and we got in this van, and you think, oh, sleeping in a van in the middle of a field and it's freezing cold and all the rest of it, we both had the best night's sleep we have had in a month, right? It was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, in the morning, also trickling, like the rain was trickling down on the roof. So we woke up like really like as you wake up.
Yeah.
Like when you are happy.
And it was, we agreed it was the best night's sleep we've had in such a long time that Niels floated the idea of, shall we just have sleep dates when we just go out and go and sleep on the drive, just so that we can get sleep away from our families? I thought this was a brilliant idea.
I mean, I woke up in the morning, texted you two. I was like, "Oh, is this going to be good?" And they were like, "They were like, no, you had a really good night's sleep."
Yeah, so it was good. But then the next morning we were up and out, and you came along and joined us and went out for the practice lap whilst we got everything over into the pits and ready to go. Yeah,
so I actually had a bit of a dither. I went to do a practice lap on the Friday, and the conditions were reasonable, I'd say. Some of the course was quite sticky, quite a lot of ruts, which I'm just not that super confident with, actually.
Oh, follow the ruts.
Yeah, it's really hard though, actually, to follow.
No, commit to the ruts. That's the rule.
Yeah, they're not my favourite, I must admit. And I didn't have the best time, but we had dinner out the night before. And I said, you know what, let's think about it. I'm going to turn up in the morning. Let's just see how we go. And these guys are brilliant. And they said, we're here now. Let's do it. Let's see how you feel in the morning. We'll go for it. And actually, just before you had arrived, I thought, it started raining. I thought this is going to be good for me because ruts just become slush. And I'm better in slush than I am in ruts. So sent them off to get water. Yeah, fill up the pressure washer. Yep. Sent them off and I said, look, I'm going to do a lap to warm up.
That was so important. We couldn't find a loo the whole night. So that massive.
So we went to find the toilets as well.
Yeah, so the thingy was really good. So you just filled it to the brim.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not what you wash my bike with, is it?
It's really good.
It's supposed to be good for it.
No.
Didn't even have to use any bike cleaner.
And if your bike gets stung by a stingray or a jellyfish,
it wasn't that muddy.
Or
Anyway, but there was I thought it was a really nice moment. You two are probably going to laugh at me. When I'd finished my warm-up lap, felt much, much better. Saw you two coming towards me, and I was like, guys, I'm in. I'm doing it. And you two were like, phew, thank God for that. I should keep going on about not racing this thing anymore. And we're in action. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so that was it. That was the start of our, I said, I'll see you on the start line.
Yep, that was it. And then we got ourselves set up. So Niels and I have never been into a cyclocross pits before. So we...
Did you have to show your wristbands?
Yeah.
Had
to show wristbands. And we also had a spare bike.
Apparently that bike was meant to have a wristband as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, strict, but you got away with it.
Yeah, well, we got in there so early that nobody was fast enough to actually even check the bikes as we got in. So
you looked very confident, like
just strolling.
You looked like the proper pit people.
So top tip for everybody: if you're going to hide an e-bike, just get there early.
I was thinking, what sort of bike would you take in? Yeah, an e-bike. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, we took the bike in there and we got everything set up, and then we had a few backwards and forwards plans, and then we tried the pressure washer because one of the key things in a cyclocross race is to make sure that you can wash the bike down quickly as possible, get it out there. And I never thought I'd say this, but I actually had pressure washer envy as we went in.
Yeah, I already knew we didn't have the best. I already knew we didn't have the best one.
Yeah, we had one that Gemma, someone had lent Gemma, which is electric, and it turns out
of good quality.
It was spraying water as hard as my electric toothbrush.
Yeah, in fact, rather than filling the water bucket the way we did, we might as well have just done it straight onto the bike because of the amount of the pressure that was behind it. But anyway, the electric wasn't great, so it's okay. We then ran off and found our backup pressure washer,
which was worse.
Yeah, it wasn't actually
In
any
hindsight,
better. Yeah,
yeah.
in hindsight. But fortunately, there were loads of people there with these great big petrol-driven versions.
And the
of
steam,
pressure
like the
washer.
steam that comes out, just makes them look super pro, doesn't it? They're like,
Honestly, it was hilarious. Everybody who had one of these, like they just felt like God. It was like
Yeah.
it was actually hilarious. I am Thor, the god of thunder. Wow. It was really hilarious. Like,
because they were probably washing bikes before the competitors had even started.
yeah, some of them
Yeah.
were even like cleaning the floor, just to spray the mud out of the grass because they were so happy about
Oh,
it.
I thought you meant the floor, like where they were starting on the grid.
No, just like to clean the grass.
And there were some people who were actually carrying their bike to either the start or to the pit to make sure it stayed off the mud. Anyway, so we've got there. We got ourselves all set up. We came over to you on the start line, and we stood there, and it
Yeah.
wasn't warm, was it?
No, I then had a bit of a faux pas, actually. I generally don't get cold in a race, so I don't really, it's fine. I don't wear too many clothes, but it was absolutely freezing, 2 degrees. And because I hadn't thought really that I was going to race, I hadn't prepped that well, which is, again, really unlike me. I'm normally really organised. And I said to the girl next to me, I was like, under all this gear, I've literally only got my summer skin suit on. And she looked at me and she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, just my summer skin suit. When this comes off, I'm going to be freezing. And for some reason, we always panic. So the commissaire says 2 minutes to go. Now, 2 minutes is a really long time. It's plenty of time to get your gear off. But for some reason, everyone panics. And then they're like, 1 minute 30 to go. 1 minute 30 and 2 degrees in your summer skin suit is at such a long time.
It was.
What shall I say? I was trying to live stream it on Instagram. You know, like how long 2 minutes are. I was like, so here's the start, and I held my phone. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to hold my
Yeah, you
phone
need to
for
wait for
2
30
minutes
seconds.
and nothing happens. Yeah, that was really bad.
Absolutely. And then they got down to the point where the commissaire says, the race will start.
It's awful. In the neck. What did they say? This is the thing. In the next 30 seconds. So to me, that means it could be 5 seconds. It could be
Yeah.
10 seconds, or it could be the full 30, just up to the comp. Oh, it's
and this-
scary.
Yeah.
And genuinely, I mean, because I filmed it, I think it was almost up to the full 30
You
seconds.
took it right up to the 30 seconds. Oh.
Yeah. Every race I've ever done when that's been the start, it's been the next 30 seconds. And it's broadly, we all know it's until the commissaire's got to the side.
Oh, I never thought about that before.
Off we go. But the
Unless he is like a proper, like, you know, he wants to be in the middle. Like,
yeah,
In the mix.
like genie in the bottle going through, like, you know.
dropping his flag
Yeah.
in the front of